Hey guys, this is another episode of Kera Dangerous Talk. I wanted to go live this early afternoon to talk about the passing of legendary DJ K Slay. I wanted to bring on today somebody who could really speak on the type of person he was, somebody who had a working relationship with him that I know could probably speak on him a lot better than I can. So before we get to that, I gotta hit you with the intro. So let's do that, and we'll come right back. Hello. So we're back, and I'm joined here with New York rapper. I'm gonna call him New York today because that's what's on our minds today. New York rapper SkyZoo. How you doing today?
Good, good. I'm New York every day, not just because of today. So let's get that right.
Well, that's me. That's me talking saying that.
Oh, okay, okay. Word
I,
up.
I put on my New York hat because
I
I
see
just
it. I see
want
you
to
repping.
represent
Okay,
today.
word up.
Yes. So we're here to talk about the legacy, the life of DJ K Slay. And I know that, you had dealings with him, you've been able to work with him, and he's helped you in your career. So I just want you to go and just speak on him today.
Yeah. Well, first off, rest in peace to the king, the icon K Slay. You know, it's a super sad day for hip hop, sad day for the city of New York, but also hip hop in general. You know, everywhere because he impacted the sound and the culture and the fabric of it all everywhere out from New York and beyond. You know, obviously he was a New York guy. He was from Harlem, uptown, and all that. And but what he did, he changed the game for so many people throughout hip hop. You know, he got love in the South, he got love in the Midwest, he got love in the West Coast, everywhere. As far as the mixtapes, you would see him, you know, put other regions on or work with other regions and embrace all of that while being known as such a New York guy and a staple within it. And he was hip hop, man. He touched so many parts of the culture, right? Like everybody knows him as a DJ and a producer and all that stuff in the mixtape game. But then also, you know, he was a legendary, iconic graffiti artist. And a lot of people who got hip to him as the DJ, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, may not have been hip to him as Dez, the iconic graffiti artist all over the movie Star Wars. You know, a
Wow.
lot of people didn't put the two together because he looked so different when he was a teenager. He was slim and all that, you know, and he was a monster with those cans, man. I actually don't know what he was better at, from DJing to tagging up, because he was a
Wow.
monster with those cans, you know. And shout out to my man Scheme, my bro Scheme. He's a New York City icon, graffiti, legendary graffiti artist, and I know he's definitely feeling it right now because they were like super close. They were in Star Wars together, and they came up together tagging the trains. A lot of pictures you see of K Slay tagging the trains. Scheme is right there in the background, and vice versa. So shout to my bro Scheme. That's the OG. I know he's feeling it right now. But you know, Slay was that guy, man. Dez was that guy. You know, it's like two different people as the same person. Please go look up his graffiti work. Please go look up his graffiti work, man. He was a master with it. And obviously with the mixtape game, I mean, he ran that for so long, you know, Drama King, you know, mixtape awards and all that. He ran that, you know, and for me, I met Slay, you know, it was a time where, like, you know, coming up, you had to have K Slay in your corner somehow. You had to be on his mixtapes or have him host your mixtape or have him spin your joints on the radio or bring you up to freestyle. You know, you weren't solidified if you didn't get one of those boxes checked off, you know. So Slay used to show me a lot of love, you know. He was the streets and, you know, just the culture of outside and the fabric of the concrete and all that. And he always would spin my joints on the radio. He always would make sure I was tapped in. He always would show love. And if you look at, like, you showing the cover right now, Corner Store Classic, that's an old mixtape from 2007. One of my first mixtapes, not my first, but one of my first.
Mhm.
'07. I must have been, what, 24, 25, and young guy coming up, you know, and he did that. Him and shout to my man Mick, who used to go by Mick Boogie back then. They did that, you know, and Slay held it down. You know, we reached out, me and you know, my manager at the time. We had a relationship with him already, you know, just from being in the scene, him seeing us grinding, us looking at him as the top dog icon that he was. And you know, we was able to get that going, and he hosted that for me. And you know, when he hosted it, he played joints, he showed love, and then even beyond that, he would play joints, show love, always, you know, always love, man. And then it's crazy because he reached out to me in late November, early December. He reached out and he was like, "Yo, Sky, I'm working on the new album. I got to get you on it, man. You know, shoot me a verse. You know, I got this beat, boom, boom, boom." I was like, "Absolutely." So, you know, I did the verse, and he was talking about doing the video. So I shot my scenes for the video. I sent all that back to him. And the last time we spoke was like mid-December. And we was talking about that. He was like, "Yo, I got the files, bro. You killed it. Boom, boom, boom. We're gonna get everything going. You know, as soon as the record is done, I'm gonna let you know, et cetera, et cetera." And I was like, "I bet." And that was the last time I spoke to him, was like mid-December. Yeah, mid-December. And like a little bit before Christmas.
So I want to, because I didn't start with this, but DJ K Slay had been dealing with COVID. And I know me personally, I follow him on Instagram, and I had been watching to see his progress. And I had actually said to myself, he's been sick for a long time, and I didn't hear anything else about it. When I would look on his page, I would see they would reschedule events. And I know that I saw DJ Kid Capri. He actually had caught COVID as well, and he recovered. But then I still wasn't hearing from DJ K Slay. And so when we get news that he died on Easter, just wow. And I want to
just
go
shows
through.
you, it just shows you how long he was dealing with it, you know, because like I said, the last time we spoke was mid-December. And I feel like it was right after that is when he might have got sick, you know. So if you look at around Christmas or whatever up till Easter, you're talking what, 4 months, you know. So he was dealing with that for a long time, man, which is incredibly sad. And it's heartbreaking, you know, for hip hop and for his family, you know, outside of the music, for his family, for his loved ones, you know, prayers up to them, shouts to them. I reached out to a couple people this morning that I know that are really, really, really in that circle. You know, I reached out to people and just made sure everybody was okay and just showed my love and all that. And yeah, like I said, man, the last time I spoke to him was mid-December, and I had sent him the files back for this verse and for this video. And he was like, "Yo, good looking, you killed it. I'm excited to put this joint together. You know, I'll keep you posted as soon as it's done, whatever, whatever." And I was like, "I bet." And that was it. And then I reached out maybe a couple weeks and, you know, Merry Christmas, all that, and didn't hear back and, you know, whatever. But then I got a little worried, and I was like, "Dang, I didn't hear from Slay." And that's not like Slay. You know, he would holler right back, "Yo, what up, bro? Boom, boom, boom." So, you know, I was like, that's not like him. So I reached out to some people in his circle, and they confirmed it. I think before a lot of people in the world knew. They was just like, "Yo, he dealing with, you know, with the Rona right now, you know what I'm saying? But he gonna bounce back. You know, he on the up and up. He gonna bounce back." I was like, "All right, word, you know, just let him know, you know what I mean? Let him know, heads are checking in on him, whatever." And then boom, months later, like I'm like, "Dang, you know, where's Slay at? He's still dealing with that."
So you never got him on the phone or anything?
No, because he was in the hospital, you know what I mean? So like he was in the hospital. Yeah, so you know, it's awful, man. I would think about him like, "Damn, what's up with Slay? He's still dealing with that?" You know, because I knew you would see him active on the gram if he wasn't still dealing with that. You would see him moving and shaking and getting back to it, you know, getting back to the culture if he was all the way up, you know. So I knew he might have still been recovering, but I was hoping, you know, everything was going in a positive direction. And it's just sad, man. It's a hit for hip hop, man. It's a huge hit.
Well, yeah, let's take it back to the feeling of his mixtapes, because he worked with so many different artists, and he actually worked with a bunch of artists who recently passed, like Young Dolph, um, the guy from New York, who, I can't think of his name, the guy big in the drill scene. He was helping him out. Even Fred the Godson, Pop Smoke, and here's a picture with me with Fred the Godson. I know he was working with him before he passed, and Fred the Godson ended up getting COVID and passing as well. And I think they actually, if I'm not mistaken, DJ K Slay did either Fred the Godson's last music video or one of the last with him.
Right.
You know, he's just been a guy that works with some of the biggest people in hip hop. But what was it about his mixtape series that was different than other mixtape series? Like we had the Street Sweeper mixtapes that were hot, you know.
Yeah, he embodied the streets. He embodied the streets. If there was a diss record, you know, if heads was going at each other, if there was a diss record or whatever, he would be the one to play that, the first one to play that. He didn't care whose side of the fence, whatever. He just put the music together, you know. He didn't ride for either side. Well, so and so is dissing so and so. These two rappers is going at it. He would just give it to the streets. So and so coming at so and so, boom, there go the joint. This one came back at him, boom, there go the joint. He was so respected in the street that nobody questioned who he was or what his motives was when it came to playing diss records on his tapes or whatever was going on in the street. Like nobody questioned it because he was so solidified and he was such a stand-up individual. He just gave the streets the music. He literally was the streets. He literally was the streets, man. You go to any corner, any hood, it was about K-Slay tapes, especially in New York. And then you talk about Straight Stuntin'. Straight Stuntin' was, a humongous magazine that he put together, that he created and he did and all that, where it was a men's magazine with all the Instagram models before Instagram existed. They might have been MySpace models when the magazine first started, but all of the baddies and all that. And that was huge for jail culture. You had a magazine that was as big as a Bible with beautiful women, beautiful Black and Latino women, and articles with rappers and interviews with rappers and album reviews and all that, mixtape reviews. But it was, focusing on beautiful women. And that was huge for jail culture. It still is. They get those in jail. Those is a big deal in there. So everything was the streets. Everything he did was taking care of the streets, making sure the streets had a voice, making sure the streets was tapped in. And what I appreciate about him, he made sure, he would spin my music. And my music is a different side of the fence when it comes to the street. Like my music is, the people call it the intelligent, intellectual side, or, if the guy that went to college but was from the street made music, like that's kind of the crowd that I serve. And he would make sure my joints got to the street, and the street would be like, yo, we rock with SkyZoo. It was crazy. Even though I wasn't making beef music and all that type of stuff, he represented, like I said on my gram earlier, he made sure all MCs, if you was nice, all MCs was represented, regardless of hype or not. Whether you had a billion people behind you or whether nobody ever heard of you. If he heard you and you was dope, he put the light on you and showed you love and let the world hear you, So a lot of people don't do that, and everything always went back to the street, everything. And he held it, man. Nobody had it like him.
That's beautiful. And I just want to let people know, because you talked about his beginnings and he was a graffiti artist, which a lot of us didn't know. And he was slim, had the hair on his head, because we always saw him with a cap on, a baseball cap. So it was beautiful to get that backstory. But I know that he began selling his mixtapes on the street corners of New York City's West Village around 93. And, he featured artists on his mixtapes like Eminem, 50 Cent, and Jay-Z. I think, wasn't he a big factor in 50 Cent in the beginning of his career with helping putting him out?
Absolutely, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Because again, if you know what it was back then in 01, 02, 03, 50 had the streets, and you couldn't have the streets without K-Slay. It was impossible, especially in New York. You couldn't have the streets of New York without K-Slay. K-Slay would have to be a part of your regime if you wanted the streets of New York back then, and still to this day, he would be on Shade 4-5, one of the biggest radio networks in the country, in the world. You can get Shade 4-5 anywhere, and he's playing guys from the projects in Harlem. He's playing guys from the streets in Brooklyn and Queens, and like, he showed that love. He put the light on heads. If you was dope and you was getting busy and you was authentic and you was real with yours, he was spinning it, and a lot of people can't say that. And it's an honor to have been a part of that and have had a little bit of anything with him. It's an honor, and I'm happy that we was building lately, and he reached out for me to do that record for him. And of course I was like, yeah, bro, that's done. He called my phone. I was like, man, that's done. Like, I'll get that done in a heartbeat, and I got
absolutely it right. You're not gonna take your time with that.
Being a legend. I was like, yeah, 100%. I did that. And then he was like, yo, we got to get the video, man. Can you shoot a clip for the video? I was like, absolutely. And we did that. And, and that was that. So I'm glad we got to build. Whether the record comes out or not, I don't care. I'm glad we got to build one last time and really shake and do some things together before, he transitioned.
Before I let you go, I just want to read to people what, and thank you for sharing your stories, what DJ Kid Capri said, because like I said, they both had COVID. And just a little bit of his Instagram post, DJ Kid Capri said, "This hits different. I spoke with his mother before it hit IG tonight, and I'm just heartbroken for her. I still can't believe it. If you remember, myself and Slay got sick at the same time in January. He went to the hospital and I didn't. I talked to him. He told me, kid, I almost checked out last night after that. I stayed in touch with his moms for a while, thinking everything was getting better. As I said on Drink Champs, where I also said DJs have to support each other, we lost a great one. This man is true hip hop in pure fashion and someone who has helped many, and a big blow to the DJ community. But she lost her son. My condolences go out to his family and friends. People, we cannot take each other for granted. Tomorrow is not promised. Check on your people. God bless and rest in peace. DJ K Slay, love you, man. And you always be missed. The Drama King is in the building. Lock in. A
Yeah,
beautiful
absolutely.
tribute by DJ Kid Capri. And although I don't have it with me, I'm not sure what the issue was with DJ Clue. I know they had a little disagreement back in the day, but even DJ Clue, obviously, he had to say something today after hearing about the loss of DJ K Slay. On his post, he said, prayers go out to his family, friends, and loved ones, and the whole DJ community. We lost a great man. Rest in paradise, King. And he said he was still in disbelief, and that's coming from DJ Clue. So it's good to see the DJ community get together and honor this man. And I'm seeing a lot of rappers as well post that DJ K Slay was one of those DJs who helped to put them out there, and they're so appreciative of his work and his
Yeah,
legacy in his
it's just
life.
like I said, it's the same story that I told you. The same
Mhm.
story I told you is what other MCs, coming up and who came up have the same story. He helped us all out, man. He one way or another, either he hosted your tape or you got a freestyle on his tape or you was on his album or something. Like he
Mhm.
brought you up to the radio to freestyle, he played your joints on the radio, something. He was all the way tapped in. It didn't matter who you was affiliated with, if you was connected to somebody, if you had a deal, who your manager was, none of that mattered. All that mattered was is if he heard you and he thought you was it, he was gonna press play, and that's what he did.
Are those your final words, guys, or anything
Yeah, I'm
that
good
you'd
with
like to
that. I'm
say?
good with that. 100%.
Okay. Well, my final words before we get out of here is just to say I heard all the wonderful things SkyZoo just said. And for all the up and coming DJs and all the people who's the young DJs, I just want to say you can follow behind what DJ K Slay did. He was a pioneering guy. And it sounds like to me, all that was important to him was to have whoever had the talent. It wasn't about no other bull crap. It was about, are you talented? And I want to bless you by giving you some spotlight. And I think that's beautiful, especially with all the cocky DJs we have now. It's good to hear a story about somebody that was really just about the talent and showing
Yep.
love. So you really gonna be missed, DJ K Slay. And again, thank you, SkyZoo, and to everybody watching. Make sure you like and subscribe to the Kera Dangerous Talk channel. And I'll see you again soon.